All right. All right. Looks like everything's working. Looks like we're live. We got the mic going. We got the camera going. Lights are on. I think we're good to go. Let me get the disclaimers out of the way that we normally do. We'll jump into this. So this is the weekly live broadcast, pretty much every Thursday evening, 7 o'clock Central. This is where I am, and you're welcome to come in here, chat with us, talk about pretty much anything you want to talk about. Ask questions. I do my best to respond to all the chat that comes in during the live broadcast itself. So if you have something you wanted to get answered and I haven't been answering it, well, here's a great place to do that. Um, let's see what else. Pretty much any topics open. I don't really care. I mean, like I said, I believe that we can be friends even if we have differences of opinion. So I don't care if we want to talk about religion and politics, the voodoo topics. I don't care. The only things I ask is you be polite, you be friendly, courteous. Don't start, family friendly too. Don't start cussing anybody. Don't start getting upset about anything like that. Don't yell at anybody, any of those kinds of things. We'll have to kick you out. But other than that, it's all pretty good. It's all fair game. So let's jump into this. We got Rabbit Homesteading was here early. Says, oh, sweet, have 42 minutes to wait. Hopefully I can make it. Hopefully you made it. I'm not sure. David Lister joined in, though. He's here, so good to see you. Chester Hickman, good evening. Andy Rabbit's here. Good to see you, too. Let's see. David says hello to everyone. Hello to you, too. And Dawn from South Central Illinois. Good to see you. Jennifer from East Tennessee. We got Buster here. He says hey to everyone. Joy from Western Oregon. Good to see you, too. And Tony from Toronto. Good to see you guys. So we got several people here. 22 people actually in the chat right now. Already 10 thumbs up. So thank you for that. Appreciate that. And then there's no more chat to respond to all of a sudden. Starting off slow today. Usually we have quite a bit of chat in there. So today we are going to give away, while I'm waiting on it, we're going to give away the new weather station. So we'll do that on the live broadcast here in just a little while. And hopefully we're still live. There's no chat coming through. Somebody give me a response of some kind. Let me know that we're still going and make sure I'm not just talking to nobody. Well, Joyce sent a couple smiley faces. I guess that's a response. So thank you for that. I appreciate that. This is another one of those times where, yeah, you guys hear me. You got me. Good. Thank you. Andy Rabbit says, don't forget to hit the like button. Thank you. I appreciate that. Andy says, hey, everybody from Middleville, Michigan. Happy first day of spring. It is the first day of spring. I don't know about you guys, but it sure did not feel like the first day of spring. It was almost like, a joke was being played on us because it's been nice, windy, super windy here. I mean, crazy amounts of wind, 60, 70 mile an hour winds. Sorry, I got distracted. 60 mile an hour winds, like sustained winds all day long for the past, maybe not. Friday was that way, I think. Was it Thursday, Friday? Either way. Last Thursday, Friday was that way. Yesterday, we had pretty high winds, about 45, 50 mile an hour winds sustained all day long. It was just crazy, blowing dust around like crazy. I mean, it's just like a dust bowl here. And my truck is covered with dust. We did get a little bit of rain yesterday, and it cooled off significantly. So it was 64 degrees when I got up yesterday morning. By the time I got off work, it was like 38 degrees. The bottom dropped. We've been in the mid to high 60s and low 70s, pretty much every day. And then we had 2 days where it was pretty cold, and first day of spring, that cold weather hitting. So I don't know what your guys' weather's been like, but yeah, it's like 35 degrees this morning too here. Jennifer says, hey, Chris, have you ever heard of white silver foxes? No, I have not. I know there's black, there's blue, there's brown. I've never heard of a white silver fox. I don't know if that's a new thing or what. David says you can hear me in Florida. Good. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't know what Troy's got. AAA plus Bedford, Texas, USA. I don't know what all that AAA plus all that means, but anyway, thank you for joining us tonight. Appreciate that. David says, I have kids that were born 224. How long should we wait to rebreed the mom? Well, you could do it anytime now. I mean, you're looking at a month out, 4 weeks. So if you wanted to, you could you can breed them like a week after they had, you could breed them the day after. I don't really like to do that. You could breed them a couple of weeks after. You can breed them as soon as you want to, really. But now's not a bad time because you're looking at about a month out. So you've got another at least, roughly 2 weeks before you should start. You could start weaning them off. You don't have to. You could start weaning them off. So that gives you a couple of weeks with, if you were to wean them off, move them to grow out pens, a couple of weeks where she's, doesn't have any babies in the cage before she has another litter. So it's a good time probably to go ahead and do it now if you want to, or wait a little while longer if you want. It's really up to you. Dawn says 35 degrees this morning here in Illinois. Winter back. We're supposed to have snow overnight. Got some hail, but small. Yeah. Similar here. We were supposed to get, I don't know, it may have snowed last night. We had a chance of snow. I don't know if it did or not. It's really been too warm for it to really stick on the ground. And I know it started raining and it was pretty cold. So we may have gotten a little bit of snow, but there wasn't any on the ground when I got up this morning. But it was pretty chilly. It was 34 degrees, I think, when I looked at the temperature whenever on my weather station. I looked at the temperature, what it was outside, 34 degrees this morning when I got up and got around. All right. Andy says, been some crazy weather for sure. We had a tornado about 2 hours from my house. Really? I didn't hear about tornadoes in Missouri. Maybe it was in Arkansas, I guess. That could have been 2 hours from your house, but glad it wasn't what didn't hit you. Hopefully it didn't do too much damage. Andy Rabbit says white silver fox are a thing. Well, I didn't know that. I was not aware of white silver foxes. Let's see. I got to look that up real quick. White silver fox rabbits. Interesting. Well, there's not a whole lot of search coming up on that. Yeah, okay, so just a quick search. I guess it's a possibility. It's just not a very common thing, apparently. Andy Rabbit says, you don't see any silver on them, though. They will never be a showable color. Yeah, I heard that they did just put the blues back up. I know for a long time you couldn't show the blue silver foxes, but they just allowed that recently, apparently. I don't know. I haven't really looked into it. I'm not really into showing rabbits necessarily, but that's what I heard. Jose says, how's it going? I have a big problem. My does gave birth, but decapitated. Has that happened to you? Decapitated. So they took the head off the babies, all of them, or just one or two, or it hasn't happened to me, but it's not something that's incredibly uncommon. Especially like first-time moms. Sometimes they just get an overly aggressive with cleaning up the babies, and sometimes they actually just eat the babies for whatever reason. It's not usually something that's going to be like a multiple occurring thing. If it's a first-time mom, it's probably just first-time mom doesn't know what's going on. I would just breed her again, try again, and hopefully everything works out. If it's a reoccurring issue where it happens multiple times, I'd get rid of her, get a new rabbit. But again, first-time mom, always give them another chance and see how they're doing with that. Like I said, it's not something I've dealt with, but I know that it's not that uncommon for especially first-time moms to kind of partially or maybe even fully devour their young sometimes. Joy says, bred my New Zealand white doe on the 15th, 3 fall-offs, told the buck no 2 days later, hoping for kits pretty soon. Told the buck no 2 days later. I'm not sure if I follow that part, but anyway, you bred her on the 15th. So yeah, you should. You got a couple of fall-offs that she should be pregnant. I would count on having baby rabbits here pretty soon. And Andy Rabbit talking about the white silver foxes says they look like a fuzzier New Zealand, nothing special at all. Oh, Andy says 2 miles, not hours. Did I read that wrong? Did I say it? Oh, no, you typed 2 hours. Probably a typo and it got auto-corrected or something. But 2 miles from you, that's really close. Glad you're okay. We got Sexton Outdoors from Eastern Kentucky. Good to see you. And Andy Rabbit says a nickname for those white silver fox is Arctic fox. Well, that makes sense. Jacob says, hello, I'm here. What do I have to do to be entered in the drawing? Well, you got a little while to do it. Go back to my page. Open up another tab on your browser if you can. Go back to the YouTube page. Look for the video I had well, it was the last video I posted for the Sane Logic Win Your Own weather station. And then, hang on, I got to refresh this page so I can get a new pick on there. And then, sorry, I'm talking while I'm doing this. And then post in there in the comments section, Poundstein Sane Logic. Look in the the description of the video and copy and paste it from there so you make sure you get it right. Because actually, what I think I'm going to do is just fetch everybody that had that on there, and if it was somebody that didn't post that right, we'll have to just draw again. So make sure you get that on there. Pound Sane Logic. We had some people that spelled it a little bit wrong, so my comment picker wasn't picking them up. We'll explain all that as we go through the drawing. But go back and make a comment on that video so you get pulled into the drawing, and just make sure you post the right thing, the Sane Logic thing that's in the description. Just copy and paste it in there. Andy Rabbit says, yeah, just white. I don't know if they still have any pictures of the one I had. Interesting. And Andy Rabbit says, my hubby is going to have back surgery tomorrow. Oh, my goodness. Hopefully that goes well. Back surgery can be kind of scary. Sometimes it can be good and sometimes it can be bad. So hopefully it goes well. Don says, Andy, hog tie him down so he doesn't run away tonight. Yeah, no kidding. Brixton's here, says, made it. Well, thanks. We're glad you joined. Don says, let's see, go pull a spark plug out of your car if you need to, so he didn't get away. Brixton says, how's it going, everyone? Well, I'm doing well. Hopefully you are too. Jose says, it's not my first time, Mom. She gave me a litter of 7, and last night gave birth to 5. When we checked this morning, all of them were dead, only 2 decapitated. Well, what's possible, what could have happened, I mean, who knows why they died exactly, but a lot of the times if the babies do die, it's their instinct to kind of clean that up and get rid of it so it doesn't draw predators in. So it may not be that she actually killed them. It may just be that they died for whatever reason. Chalk it up to a bad litter. Sometimes it happens. Breed her again, see how she does on the next one. And like I said, if it becomes a recurring issue, look for a new replacement rabbit for her. That's what I would do. Let's see. Bev says, hey, all. Another Thursday that I'm working late and listening to the chat. Well, thank you for joining us either way. I appreciate that. Jose says, I still have 27 babies. Your videos got me to breed to mucks. Thank you. Well, you're welcome. Thank you for watching the videos. I appreciate that. I should have Tamuks do hopefully a successful litter this time. She's 2 down. Not necessarily her fault, but 2 down. And hopefully we'll have a successful litter this time. We're looking at probably about 2 weeks from now, I believe, is when she's due. So we'll see how she does. And probably post videos on that so you guys will know. Excuse me. Grab a drink here while we're waiting on some chat to come through. Andy says, any silver fox? Yeah, I do. She just gave birth just a couple days ago. And I meant to get video out this weekend, but I did not. And I'll probably get that out this weekend, at least show the babies off, because you know she did have she had a litter, good litter, no problems. Everybody's doing well. I just checked on them right before coming in here, and everybody's fine. They're only about, let's see, I guess she had her babies on Friday, so we're almost a week. We're going almost a week in. Brixton says, this doesn't really apply right now, but is there anything else you do besides just keeping water full for the rabbits during really hot days? Not a whole lot. When it gets really hot outside, I try not to pester them too much, especially in the middle of the day. Make sure they always have access to fresh water. Open the tarps up if it's not super windy. Pull those up on both sides of the hutch, because I've just got tarps on the back side that are down pretty much all winter. The front side I pull down whenever we get bad weather. The rest of the time, the front side stays open. So I'll open up the back a little bit, give them a little bit of airflow, without wind blowing directly on them. But that's about it, honestly. I keep them in the shade, so they're under a bunch of tree cover that the sun never really hits the hutch directly. It's always shaded, so that kind of helps quite a bit with that in the summertime. But that's about it. Honestly, there's not much else I do and don't find necessary. Andy says, awesome, congratulations. Well, thank you. Yeah, she had a pretty decent litter, so we'll show them off in a video coming up. I don't know, probably this weekend I'll get some video shot on that. I did not get a video out this last weekend because, well, I was just busy. I had some things going on. We went out of town with some family and friends, and I got back Sunday, and I was just tired, honestly. But I did have Whiskey Tango Farms was, I don't know if you guys know them. They were in Bentonville for a rabbit show and messaged me because they were going to be coming right through here, basically. That's Bentonville, Arkansas is like an hour south of us. It's not very far at all. So we got back home Sunday from our trip that we had with some family and stuff. And that just right, I mean, we were home 15, 20 minutes and they showed up and we got to hang out with them and see them for a little while, which was kind of neat. So they headed back home. Dawn says, I like to see babies. Yeah, this should be good to show off this weekend. Like I said, about a week old right now, or going close to a week old. So good time to get them out and show them off. What else we got here? That's it on the chat right now. Chat's a little slow the last couple of days. Rickson wants to know how many. 6 total, it looks like. I haven't really got them all out and counted them, but it looks like 6. So pretty decent sized litter. Not huge, but decent. Oh, excuse me. Yawning. Oh. And I hate these long spells where I don't have anything to say. I always say that I should come up with something to fill the gaps with, and I have a hard time with it sometimes. SW says, when it's hot, I fill 2-liter pop bottles with water and freeze it and give it to the rabbits, and they lie next to it. Yeah, I've tried that before. I haven't really found it to be that helpful for them. Most of my rabbits didn't really bother using them at all. And if I put them in the morning, they're thawed out and not really cold at all by like noon. So I don't know that it really does that much for them. When I did it, it didn't really seem to help much, but it's not a bad practice. I'm not telling you not to do it. Brixton says, that's good. I'm expecting litters from 2 of my does on April 8th. Well, awesome. Hopefully that goes well. We got Sax Place says, hello from Southwest Ohio. Good to see you. Thank you for joining us tonight. Don S says, I'm really slow because I'm busy starting seeds indoors, pulling weeds outdoors, hatching quail eggs and smashed quail eggs and other things. It's busy season, I guess. Yeah, it can be for sure. I don't even know if we're going to garden this year or not. I think we may take a summer off. I don't know yet. I'll probably buy a few things, put them in the garden. I haven't started any seeds or anything yet. I don't know if I'm still trying to talk myself into it and just don't know if I'm going to. I may just take a year off. Andy says, how is them guys from Whiskey Tango Farms? Haven't seen or heard from them lately. They're doing well. They've got a YouTube channel. They've been kind of sporadic with posting. We kind of talked about that a little bit. They're not doing quail eggs anymore. So people have said, where's places to hatch, and or to order eggs from, I usually bring them up in the list, but they're not actually doing that anymore, or not at this time anyway. They may pick it back up. They're kind of focused a little bit more on the rabbit shows. So showing rabbits. Doing pretty well with that from what I understand. So, but they're doing really well. It was good to see them. I hadn't seen them in a long time either. So they stopped by the house and we hung out for, hour and a half or so, and then let them go on their way. See, Jacob Wolf says, my wife and I planted grass seed yesterday, and we are tuckered out still. 1.5 cubic yards to dress the top since we have lots of clay, grass seed mix, and rabbit manure for fertilizer and straw on top. Well, hopefully that goes well. I've got a few spots I probably should plant some grass seed, but I really don't care about my lawn that much. I keep it mowed, and that's about it. I'm not really a lawn snob at all, but I should probably plant a little bit of grass in a few spots, if nothing else, just to keep it from, the eroding away. Warchild's here. He says, hello to everybody. Hello to you too. Brixton says, who is it that shows rabbits? I would like to see their videos if possible, since I also want to do some shows soon. That's Whiskey Tango Farms. You can look them up on YouTube. I don't know. I haven't really. Let me look real quick and see. Um, see if I can find their. There we go. Let me hang on a minute. There we go. There's their page. I'll put a link in here. There you go. There's a page to their, or a link to their YouTube page. I'm not sure, like the last video they posted was, that can't be right, 3 years ago now. About a year ago. So they haven't been posting much. We're going to see if they ever pick back up on it anytime soon. Sax Place says, put my first ever set of quail eggs in lockdown this morning. Well, awesome. Good luck with that, and hopefully you have a great hatch. Jacob says, a lot of shoveling and raking. We don't typically care, but the mud around the house is no good. I understand that. Yeah, I'm not kind of the same way. It's like I don't really care that much, but I do have a spot like where my rabbit hutch used to be. It's right up next to the house. Doesn't get much sun, and no grass is growing there right now. Hopefully it kind of, I keep thinking it's going to take over, but it hasn't yet. So the problem is, like, if it rains real heavy and pours over the gutter, it digs a trench right there because there's no grass to stop it. And I would kind of like to have some there. So I get it. I'm with you. Homestead Matters says, howdy, folks. Hope everyone is doing well. Setting up a rabbitry area tomorrow for the new 2025 endeavor. Well, I'm doing well. Hopefully you are too. And hopefully that goes well. That can be a lot of work, but I'm sure you'll be able to get it done. Bev Smith says, I have a batch of quails hatching in the incubator. Hopefully we'll have at least 50 by the morning. Well, hopefully you do. Good luck with that. I haven't started hatching yet. I probably will here in the next week or two. But I'm still kind of waiting to make sure that we're kind of past most of the harshest weather. I think we're getting close, but we'll see. Andy Rabbit says, they were going to start another channel, I thought, but I never found it. That's Whiskey Tango Farms. I didn't hear him. We talked a little bit about, they hadn't posted anything in a little while, and they've been kind of sporadic with posting, but I don't know if they've started a new channel or not. I hadn't heard that from them. Could text him, I suppose, and ask him, but I'll leave him alone right now. That's my got an email saying there's a video live on my channel. Well, it's me. I don't need that. Let's see. Bridgeton says, I hope they do. It'd be great to see a rabbit showing channel for people like me. Well, yeah, there you go. I'll reach out to them and let them know. Beth Smith says, I throw some winter rye seed down in the winter in Florida to keep the dogs from tracking so much mud or dirt into the house. Yeah, I mean, we have a little bit of a problem, of course, when it's rainy out. But other than that, it's not that big of a deal. You don't have that much where it's too muddy. Don says, and also my dog's a little bit prissy about that. He doesn't like to step in mud and wet mud. So that kind of helps. But anyway, Don says, I have 30 eggs in one incubator. I started yesterday. That was whoa, what happened here? I lost track of where I was. Oh, Dawn retracted her message. That's what happened. I was halfway through reading it, but lost it. Andy Rabbit says, it's good to know that they're still alive and healthy. Yeah, they seem to be doing pretty good. It was a long drive. They live in Wisconsin. So they had driven all the way down here to Bentonville, Arkansas, which, like I said, is just down the road. And I saw they had a Facebook post where they posted on it. I said, hey, you're just down the road. If I'd have known, I'd have made an effort to come down there. Of course, we already had plans. We were out with family and stuff, so we couldn't make it to it. But they stopped by here, so it worked out. Desert says time zone change almost caused me to miss tonight. Well, hey, I'm glad you made it. Yeah, you're in Arizona, right? So they don't do the times change. They don't do daylight savings time in Arizona, do they? I forgot about that. So let's see. David wants to know, what does your shirt say? What does my shirt say? Oh, this is the Flores Lava Championship, Pompeii, Italy, AD 70. Wait, October 24th, 79 AD, I think is what that is. So, yeah, there you go. Sax Place says, let's see, I have 2 dogs. We need a mop by the kitchen door. Hate muddy winters. Yeah, I know what you mean. Don says, I lost it too. Okay, 30 eggs in one incubator. Started yesterday. They're replacing the smashed ones from the week before, 15 salvaged, and in another incubator. So, well, good luck. I hope that you have a great hatch with that. I know that that can be stressful trying to replace them. David Lister says, WW put in 100 feet of, I don't know what WW means, but anyway, put in 100 feet of French ditch last week outside of our chicken hutch, kind of labor intensive for this old guy. Yeah, I got out and cut some wood about 2 weeks ago. I'm getting older and I'm starting to feel it. So about 2 weeks ago, maybe 3, I don't know what it was, I got out and cut some wood, the tree that's down, trying to get that all cleaned up. So I cut some wood, maybe 2 hours worth of cutting and stacking the wood, and I was just done. I mean, I used to be, I could do that all day long. But after about 2 hours of that, I mean, my back was hurting. I was just worn out completely. And that was it. It wasn't that hard of work. It was just cutting wood and loading it up in the little wagon, dragging it over and stacking it up. It wasn't that hard. So I got, I don't know, probably not even quite a rick of wood, but close to it, cut, and I was just done. I feel you, man. It's hard to keep up. Bev says, I hear you, Sax. I have 7 dogs, little mud since we mostly sand down in Florida. That could be worse, huh? Andy says, my last dog didn't like rain. She wouldn't go outside when it was raining. It rained once for 3 days. She stayed in the house for them 3 days. No potty in the house. 3 whole days, huh? Yeah, my dog doesn't like the rain much either, but he'll go out. I make him. I'm like, before bed, like, you got to go out. You got to go potty because I'm not getting up at 2 in the morning to take you out. And so I make him go out. He'll do it. He runs real quick out, real quick back, but he doesn't like it. Don says, I don't know how you retract a message, but I guess I did it, LOL. I'm not sure how you do it either, but that's all good. Bev wants to know how the eggs got smashed or how they get smashed. Andy says, I taught my last 2 dogs to wipe their feet before they came in the house or the car. Well, that's pretty handy, isn't it? And Don says to Bev Smith, they were shipped UPS, and UPS Hub takes pride in smashing packages on purpose. So the second batch was shipped USPS. Oh, that's terrible. I've never had too many problems with UPS. But Kayla says, hello to everybody. Hello to you too. Thank you for joining us. Brittany Olson says, saw quail eggs at Costco and thought of you, LOL. Really? So they were selling them probably for eating, huh? I wonder what kind of price they had on those. Brixton says, my dad says that all the time. Now it's me cutting the wood all day long and him watching, LOL. Yeah, it's cutting wood's a young man's game. I mean, it was rough. But I did get, this was kind of odd. I don't know, it's probably maybe 5 or 6 days, maybe a week after that. I was actually at work. My doorbell camera, somebody rang my doorbell, and I got a doorbell camera, and I answered it, and it actually answered. Yeah, sometimes I have a hard time connecting to it, but it actually answered. And there was an older guy out there, and he was asking me about the tree down in the back. I couldn't hardly hear him, so I didn't know couldn't really make out exactly what he was saying. But he said something about the tree being down in the back, and I said, yeah, you're asking about that tree. He said, yeah, you want to get it hauled off, and I was having a hard time. I said, I'll tell you what, I'll be home. I said, let me give you my phone number. And he's like, I don't have a pen. I'm like, okay, I'll be home around 5 o'clock. I'm having a hard time hearing you. And he said, okay, I'll be back. And I'm like, okay. Well, anyway, he shows back up 5 o'clock that evening and asked me again about the tree in the back. And I'm thinking, oh, he wants to make some money or something, But no, he just wants the wood. He's going to haul it off for free. He's got a nephew that's going to come over and help him. And he's going to haul it off for free, cut it up, haul it off because he wants the wood. He went through 8 ricks of wood last winter, he said. And he wants to be able to get the wood for next winter. And you can have it. You're welcome to have it. So I stopped cutting wood. I'm going to let him do it. Actually, he doesn't need to be doing. He's pretty old and didn't look like he was getting along the best. But he's got help that's coming. So Bev says, I ship USPS as well. Scott wants to know, have you ever raised ducks and how did it go? I had a couple of ducks when we were kids, but that doesn't really count. No, other than that, I've never really raised ducks. I've been around ducks before. I like ducks. I've thought about doing it, but I don't know. Like I said, I live in town. I got to be a little bit careful with what I do here because I, would draw too much attention if I'm not careful. Andy Rabbit wants to know if Dawn, did you file a claim on those scrambled eggs? It's a good point. I would have. Sax Place says, I'm glad I have a splitter. My son does most of the cutting these days. I split. Yeah, I don't have a splitter. My cousin does. So I was going to have him bring it down so we could split up all that wood. But heck, if I don't even have to cut it, somebody else is going to do it and haul it off. Heck yeah, that works even better. I don't have a fireplace, so I have no use for the wood. I could sell it, but honestly, I'd rather just have it gone, let him do it because, it's a lot of work to cut all that wood up, and I probably couldn't sell it for more than it would cost me to have somebody haul it away. So it actually works out pretty well. And it works out for him. He needs the wood. He's not working. He had to go on disability, he said, for some kind of illness he's got. And like I said, he doesn't need to be cutting the wood. But anyway, long story short, it works out for him, works out for me, so why not? Don says, USPS here ends up in St. Louis, where my eggs go to sit for 4 days. My postmaster told me priority can take 5 days over in St. Louis, 65 to 75 miles away. USPS sucks, and St. Louis has terrible reputation. Yeah, that does sound terrible. It says USPS took 7 days from Georgia to Illinois. Wow, that's rough. So Don says, I'll drive to get my next eggs. No more shipping. I don't blame you if you've had those problems with it. Bev Smith says, looking into getting a grounding mat. I shoveled 7 yards of something into the raised garden beds the past weekend, and after a good night's sleep on the mat, I'm not sore at all, and I'm older than you are. So, a grounding mat? I've never heard of a grounding mat. I don't know what that is. Well, these things look like things. I'm looking it up, but it looks like things you stand on. I don't know. That's weird. That looks like some kind of snake oil thing, but hey, I don't know. Don says, heck, I could have drove to Georgia and back for the eggs. Got out of St. Louis. Yeah, no kidding. Oh, 7 yards of soil into the raised garden bed. Yeah. I wasn't really sore the next day. I was just after cutting all the wood that evening. Sax Place says, we have a wood burner in the basement. Saves in winter on heating. Oil is expensive. Paid $1,000 for it this past winter. Yeah, we have natural gas that we heat with. Electric in the summer for the air conditioner and natural gas for the heat in the wintertime. But I imagine a wood burning stove or a fireplace would save a ton of money for sure. Don says to Bev Smith, I have grounding sheets. They're wonderful. Now I have knees. I want to go barefoot outside again. Bev Smith says it eliminates inflammation and it works. I may have to look into it. I don't know. And Don, I've never heard of this stuff, but you guys seem to know all about it. It says, Don says, I have grounding wristlets that you can wear when on the computer. Huh. And Bev says, I have another mat right on my office chair. Great stuff. Huh. Never heard of it before. Andy Rabbit says, the one night I get to stay home and be on your live, and all my kids want to show up. Well, you can't control that. That's all good. Well, it doesn't hurt my feelings for you to go play with your family or go hang out with your family. Go ahead and do that if you need to. It's all good. Scott says you can ground your inside bed from outdoors. I'll post a YouTube link to a good video on it. It won't let you post a YouTube link in here. It won't let you post any links in here, actually. So you have to kind of break it up or something. Don't make it look like a link, and we can probably figure it out from there. Don says, Indians had leather shoes, and we used to have leather soles as kids. We all grounded when we went outside until rubber soles. Yeah, so this seems a little weird to me. I got to be honest. Seems like maybe a little bit of a placebo effect, but who knows? Maybe it's working. And if it works just because it's a placebo effect, who cares, right? Ed Selby says, "What's a rick of firewood? What's a rick of firewood? I have cut up a lot of wood. We go by a cord and face cord. I couldn't tell you the exact measurements of a rick of firewood. Let's see what rick of wood size. It is 4 feet high by 8 feet long. That's a rick of wood." Don says, "Lots of health benefits for grounding. It was natural until they gave us rubber soles." Okay. I'm not going to argue. I mean, I don't disagree necessarily. I never go barefoot, though. I mean, I just, too many injuries. Couldn't do it. I don't have, I step on a rock and it hurts like crazy. Plus, who knows what's out there in the yard that I'd step on, nails or thorns or any of that kind of stuff. I just don't do it. Oh, how are we doing on time? We got 24 minutes left. I don't know, maybe about quarter till or so. We'll do the drawing. Bev Smith says, "I can't go barefoot in Florida. Dang fire ants." Oh, I know about fire ants. I lived in Texas for a while. We had fire ants there. Man, they're nasty things. Ed Selby says, "That's a face cord." What's a face cord? Is that a measurement for wood? Face cord? I didn't know that. Bev says, "Maybe on the beaches, LOL." Yeah, beaches would probably be okay. It's a possibility, I guess. Bev says, "Never heard of a face cord either." Yeah, me neither. Sax Place says, "Did you ever have temp gradients inside your Little Giant when you used it?" Maybe a little bit, like differences within the temperature from one part of the incubator to the other. Is that what you're asking about? Maybe a little. I don't really think I ever had too many issues with it. I got pretty good hatch rates out of my Little Giant. But I didn't notice anything major, if that's what you mean. David says, "I'm from the Tenderfoot tribe." Yeah, me too. I can't do it. Bev Smith says, "Beach is over an hour away from me. Easier to use the sheets and the mats." Okay. Don says, "You can sit under a shade tree barefoot in a chair, read a book, and you're grounding." Okay. Like I said, I got to be honest, and don't be offended by this because I don't mean anything bad, but it just sounds like a bunch of hippie new age crap to me. I don't know. There may be something to it. I'm not going to say there's not, but, it just kind of seems that way. Sax Place says, "Yeah, I can get 2 times difference from one corner to the other. Does have a fan." That's interesting. You might try to reach out to Miller Manufacturing, the people that make the Little Giant. They've got fantastic customer support. You might reach out to them and see what they can tell you. Don says, "Sheets and wristlets are slower than if you actually ground on the ground, Chris. It's been here for over 200 years, LOL. Okay. I'm not saying that contact with the ground is bad. I don't mean it that way. I just don't know. I mean, I don't know. Bev says, "You need to watch the videos. Has scientific links to studies." Okay. I'll check them out. I will. But I'm from the show me state. You got to show me. I don't just buy into things. Again, I don't mean offense by this. I'm not, it seems a little weird. Bev says, "I don't believe him, LOL. Are you talking about me? You don't believe me?" Maybe. Ed says, 4 by 8 feet, 1 stack, 16 inches. Oh, that's the cord thing. You're talking about me. You don't believe me that I'm from the show me state, or what? You don't believe me that I'll watch them? Is that what you mean? I don't know what you don't believe. I don't know. David says, "It's good until lightning strikes." Well, could be. I don't know. I had lightning strike the TV in our bedroom one time when I was standing right there. Oh, it was the weirdest thing. Beth Smith says, "Yes, all those studies, the studies are what convinced me to invest in the sheets. I did it since 2016. Oh, Bev says that you'll be bothered to research. Oh, yeah, I'll check into it. I will. It's something I've never heard of, so I'll take a look. Don't believe me, I'll take a look at it. But I'll even make it up. Grounding sheets. Let's look at those. Let's look up those. It says top 5 grounding sheets. Don't waste your money. Yeah, grounding sheets are designed to connect your body to the Earth's energy while you sleep. It does seem like a bunch of new age stuff to me, the whole energy and vibes and that kind of stuff. But I'll look into it. We'll see if there's more to it than that. Tony Mueller says, good evening, all. I have 2 quail questions. 1, can you eat a quail that had bumblefoot? And 2, when processing this weekend, 2 of our quail I skinned were whitish pink instead of the darker color. Okay, that's a little odd, I guess. But I mean, yeah, first of all, first answer, can you eat a quail that had bumblefoot? Yeah, you can do that for sure. Cook the meat well like you would any time. If there's no sign of infection like in the rest of the bird, then you should be okay. There's no issue with that. You're going to cook it. You're not eating it raw. It should be fine. As far as the birds with whitish pink instead of darker color, it's a little odd, but I don't know that that's an indicator that there's anything wrong with them necessarily. Brixton says, Chris knows the show me motto, LOL. Yeah. Sax Place says, my wife got burnt from lightning sleeping on a metal cot. Oh, that sounds horrible. Bev Smith says, my hip arthritis is gone. Well, that is something. I mean, if it works, like I said, that is something. I'll take a look at it. Don says, I got shocked once. The ground came off my computer cord and I was grounding with a wristlet and got zapped. LOL, it was funny. I never thought it was too funny when I got shocked. When I was a younger guy, I worked for my grandfather. He was an electrical contractor. And I started working for him when I was about 8 years old, 9 years old, pulling wire in houses and stuff like that. And I remember one time in particular, we were at a new build, wiring it up, and we had there was a problem of some kind. I don't remember what the problem was, but my grandpa was trying to test the continuity in the circuit. So he had a piece of wire that he gave me that was bent over in like a horseshoe shape, and he wanted me to go outside, plug it into this receptacle so he could test the continuity on the other side, because he had to have a circuit, complete circuit. And he had a continuity light over there. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyway, I asked him 2 or 3 times, the power off? Are you sure? Are you sure? And he said, yeah. When I plugged that thing in, man, the power was not off. It was afterwards. It kicked the breaker, but man, that shot out sparks, zapped me real good. Luckily, it's alternating current. Blew his continuity light, completely blew it up in his hand. Wasn't fun, but it's something funny to laugh about now. Dustin says, I'm new to quail. You've said in the past, game bird starter grower is fine for their entire life. Do you still feel that way? Yeah, I still pretty much just feed game bird starter unless I can't get it. But I have changed my opinion that, you have to have super high protein for them. I think they do a little bit better on higher protein, 25%-ish or more. I think they do better on that. But I feed game bird starter their entire life. Bev Smith says, Don, I do get concerned with the amount of lightning we get here in Tampa. What if I'm on a mat? Now, that could be a problem, couldn't it? Don says, I'm always afraid to eat quail with bumblefoot and toss the whole bird. Well, there's nothing wrong with that either. I mean, it should be okay, but at the same time, the old adage, if in doubt, throw it out. I mean, better safe than sorry, right? But you should be able to notice if there's infection in the rest of the bird. And Don says, don't ground with lightning. Unplug it because you can get struck. That's good advice. Braxton says, I'm going to head out and get some things done. Good night and good week to all. You too. Thanks for joining us tonight. I appreciate that. Sax Place says, Papa knew he just got you, LOL. Well, no, not that time he didn't. It was a big surprise to him too. There was another time where he was teaching me about electricity, I guess. And he had I guess it was electric fence charger or something hooked up. It had 2 wires sticking out there. He said, grab a hold of those wires. And boy, when I did, bam, it hit me pretty good. He did that one on purpose. But Gunklingen Palin says, I was installing home alarms back in the day, and I was stripping the phone line with my teeth. My partner called the line and shocked me. I saw sparks shoot out of my eyes, and he laughed. Oh, no. I've never been shocked by phone cord. It doesn't carry enough current, but if there's a phone call going, I guess, across there, that would do it. I always just strip phone line with my thumbnail, basically. You can just grab it and kind of strip it off there. But anyway, Scott, says, I mix Game Bird with some flock razor and get 26% protein. Well, that works. There's nothing wrong with that. And let's see, Keone, where are we at on time? We got 15 minutes left. We'll do the drawing here in just a minute. Keone says, got a new silver fox buck this week. Wanted a doe, but yeah, well, that happens sometimes. But congratulations on the new buck. Hopefully he does well for you. Don says, I heard that Bumblefoot is staff, so I don't mess with it. Well, that's not bad advice. I mean, yeah, you could definitely do it. Gun Klingen Palin says 55 volts. That's the phone wire, what it carries. Yeah, I guess it's true. Don says, when I was 14, my brother with his buddies asked me to hold the spark plug to the mower. I was beyond ticked off, LOL. Naturally, all guys were laughing. Yeah, sounds like something I would do too. All right, you guys want to do this drawing? You know what? Let's pull it up on my phone instead. Well, no, let's not. I can't get it to my phone. You're just going to have to trust me that I'm pulling this correctly because that's what we're going to do. Let's see. Anything goes. We're going to pull everybody on this thing. Load count of 45 comments. Not very many comments on there. Not many people wanted to win one. So let's do this drawing real quick. We'll see who is the winner. And it's picking a winner. And it is, let me take a look real quick and make sure that this person actually had the right comment thing in there. Yes, they did. Okay, so this is Rap111. I don't know who that is right offhand, if they're in the live broadcast or not, but they are the winner of the new Sane Logic weather station. So I'll get a hold of them and have them send me their address. I'll get it shipped out to them, whoever that is. I wish I could pick you guys. It's a random drawing. Sorry. Wouldn't be fair if I picked somebody on purpose, but Kayla says, I bought a $40 incubator on Amazon and some eggs from Amazon. Huh. Well, how did it go? Did they hatch? Kind of curious. Gunkling and Palin says, hope you catch your rabbit. Yeah, I think the rabbit's gone. I haven't seen him in weeks. There's no chance. I don't think we're doing that anymore. SO says, why would we not trust you? I don't know. Maybe not. I mean, you don't have to trust me. I guess you can assume that I picked somebody at will, but if I did, it would probably be somebody I knew whose their name was, not somebody like that random Rappa something or other. Anyway, Andy wants to know what drawing. It was a drawing for the weather station. It was in my last video I posted. Sorry if you missed it. Kayla Vargas got 15 eggs and 9 hatched. Well, that's not terrible. Ed Selby says, put me in. It's too late now. I'm sorry. You had to put a comment on that video. Andy says, I've been busy. No, I get it. I understand. SO says, Andy, you got to watch more videos. Yep. Don says, I was in. Bev says, congrats to them. I agree. Congratulations to them. And Andy says, I need to be home to watch more videos. Hey, I understand completely. Bev Smith says, 4 more traps set tonight. 4 more traps for what? What are we setting? What are you setting traps for? For a rabbit? Did I miss that? I'm not really sure. Scott says, I had 14 eggs and 6 hatched. I mixed up the eating quail eggs with the hatching eggs. That won't happen again. Do you keep a separate batch of birds for your eating eggs as opposed to your hatching eggs? Because mine are all the same. I mean, it's just sometimes I incubate them. A lot of times I eat them. Andy says, I've been running like crazy for the last 2 weeks. It happens, I know. Sorry I didn't get you in the drawing, but maybe next time we'll have something. S.O. Swanson says, as long as Andy didn't win, she wins enough. Haha. Yeah, no kidding. She cleaned up at QuailCon a couple of years ago. Bev says, read the comment above it. I'm looking at the comment above. All I see from you is congrats. I'm trying to find it. Pick me, pick me. I don't see it. I'm sorry, Bev. I can't find another comment from you other than just pick me and put me in the drawing. Did I miss a comment from you? And then there's talking about lightning. I'm sorry I missed it if it was there. Scott says, I bought off Amazon. It's not terrible. 14 eggs, 6 hatched. I mean, it's a little less than 50%, but it's not that bad. Bev says, been dealing with rats for the past couple of weeks. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Rats. Well, I don't know how well it would work for rats, but those mouse traps that are in my Amazon shop, those, what's it called? Wise? I can't remember. Let's look up real quick. I'll tell you what they are. Those mouse traps work fantastic. They're the best ones. Best ones I've found, actually. They're great. Ultra, that's what they are. The Ultra electric mouse traps. They are awesome. All right. Bev says, oh, weird. Is it weird that I couldn't find your comment? Probably. I mean, it could be me, or for some reason, it may not have shown up. I don't know. Andy Rabbit says, let's see, I thought I had everything done by today so I could stay home after hubby had his surgery, but I forgot something very important, so I'll have to make time to do that tomorrow. Oh, no. Hopefully it doesn't interfere too much. Heidi Bernal says, hey, Chris, hope you're doing well. I am. Thank you. Hopefully you are too. Sax Place says, loose rat in my basement. I raised feeders for my snakes. I've done that before. Been a long time since I've had snakes or raised feeders. But I don't think I ever had any rats get loose. Ed Selby says, the best hot wire stunt I pulled was when a friend opened a hot wire fence. As they walked up to the truck, I rolled back into the hot wire. Oh, okay, I got you. That took me a minute to follow along with, but oh yeah, that doesn't sound fun. Don says, I wouldn't want 6 to hatch. My luck, they would be all roosters, LOL. Yes, I could eat them, but I need coveys to get going again. Yeah, I know what you mean there. Andy says, I'm praying for the luck of God to be on my side right now. Well, we'll all pray for you too. Hopefully things go smooth. Scott says, I had to seal up my cage from rats. They are dirty killers. They can be. We don't really have rat problems here. I have mouse problems occasionally. Haven't had any in the last year or two because, well, I mean, I caught one mouse, I think, I don't know, it's probably 6 months ago. I haven't seen one since. But the mouse population's really dropped down since we had a couple of big black snakes around. Bev says, okay, I'll take a look at those traps. Thanks. Yeah, I don't know if they're big enough for a rat, but they work great for mice. Ed Selby says, and when they grab the hand, shocking. Yeah, indeed. Kayla says, one of my button quail chicks had splayed legs, and I 3D printed him or her a tiny shot glass, and the chick was off running in 3D or in 30 minutes. Well, that's good. I usually find that splayed legs is kind of one of those things I typically call them because it never seems to fix. I just never have good luck with it. Heidi says, oh, I'm Jupiter. Didn't realize Google changed my name, my YouTube name too. Haven't had a live broadcast in months. Oh, yeah. Jupiter, the Argentine Tegu or something like that, right? I remember you. It's been a while, hadn't it? Well, good to see you. Andy says, you want to hear something? I have a friend that is native Indian. He got pulled over and taken to the cop shop because he looked Mexican to the cop. They didn't know what the Indian card was. Shake my head. Really? Not that I'm doubting you necessarily, but I kind of find that hard to believe, honestly. And again, I'm not saying you're lying to me. I don't mean it that way, but I'm thinking your friend may have told you a story. I find that hard to believe. Seems like you would have a pretty good complaint against the police that way. But anyhow, the Desert Homestead says 24 eggs, only 2 hatched. Bought new thermometer, and found the incubator was 102. Lesson learned. Yeah, you've got to double check those incubators. They're always they're not always wrong, but pretty common for them to be a little off. Andy says, then he heard the cops say, I want to get them all. They're taking all the jobs. Where was this? Where did this take place? I'm kind of, like I said, I kind of find that hard to believe, actually. And again, I'm not saying you're lying to me. I don't mean it that way at all. So don't be offended by that. I just find the story a little hard to believe. Don says, I have a new batch of baby garter snakes out in the one garden. Railroad ties They live in them and come out to sun. Garter snakes are awesome to have around. They don't really eat snake or mice really. Most of the time, they usually don't get big enough for mice. Maybe a pinky or something like that occasionally, but they are great for like slugs and some of those kinds of things. Other garden pests, they eat those. And let's see. Scott says I use pine shavings to prevent splayed legs. I get splayed leg. I think it is. Some people use cabinet liner for the incubator. Yeah, those things work well. You need to have some kind of place for them to get traction. Usually when I find that I get splayed legs, it's from birds that are hatching really late and they just come out with splayed legs. And that's I find really hard to fix. Bev says, I like good snakes with all the building of new houses around me. Their numbers are dwindling. Yep. Andy says, I told him he should get an attorney and go after them. He said, next time, let them call ICE on you, LOL. Then I said that. Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, if it was definitely, you say it was in West Plains, Missouri, a city cop. Yeah, again, I kind of find it hard to believe, honestly. I think your friend may be kind of telling you a little bit of a story, but maybe not. Who knows? I might be wrong. But yeah, definitely I would file a complaint. I mean, if that's the case, because nobody should be, pulling you. I mean, if he wasn't pulled over for some good reason, just pulled in for that. I mean, that doesn't make any sense. Dawn says, Andy Rabbit, your city is getting grants or paid to arrest those who are not legal, right? I kind of doubt it, but maybe. And Andy Rabbit says, prejudice cop. Yeah, could be. I mean, but again, I've heard enough stories that I just kind of doubt them when they come up. Gonna take a look here. And I'm not seeing anything pop up in news stories about them right offhand, but who knows? Like I said, I'm not saying you're lying. I don't mean it that way. I'm not trying to accuse you of anything, but Dawn says, Chris, I saw an article she sent me on them getting the grant or paid to arrest and deport. Andy, explain it. Okay, says, I think we are too small for a grant, but paid for bodies maybe. I don't know that that's actually happening, honestly. West Plains is getting paid for that? Or not, you're not in West Plains, though. Let me see that real quick. Let me look that up. Yeah, the only thing I'm hitting here is like they're slashing funding for sanctuary cities, not paying anybody to. I'd have to, like I said, I'm from Missouri. You got to show me. I got to see actual evidence of that stuff before I believe it. I hear these kinds of stories all the time, but nobody ever makes a complaint or anything like that. So I kind of chalk them up to maybe just stories, but I may be wrong. Andy says the town over from us is getting paid to house for ICE. They're taking 20 of the 24 beds. What town is that? Who's getting paid to house for ICE? Okay, they do contract with companies, private companies, to house detainees. Not the town necessarily, but I don't know. We'll have to look into that a little bit later. Bev says, as a GC holder, this alien is staying on the straight and narrow, LOL. I don't blame you. I mean, and, I'm the furthest thing from a racist. I'm not a racist at all. I have no problems with immigration whatsoever. I mean, that doesn't bother me a bit. I like all kinds of people. Some of my best friends are immigrants or people that have come here, but they did it legally. So, Kevin says, how do you prevent interbreeding with the quail? Is that what you're asking about? It's not really anything to be worried about. I don't really prevent it. It's just not really anything that you need to be worried about. Change your roosters out every couple of years, 3 or 4 years, get a new rooster or two, or just get some new eggs and introduce some new blood and you're fine. You could probably go 5 or 6 years if you wanted to. It's nothing really to be concerned about. Andy says, I would sue them if it was me. Yeah, for sure. I mean, at least make a story. I mean, complain to somebody about it, right? S.O. Swanson says, our state tried to pass a law giving $1,000 reward for turn-ins, but don't know if it became a law or now. In Ozark County is the city next to you? Ozark County, Missouri? Is that what you're talking about? I'll have to look that one up. Mr. Marta says, my rabbit just had a litter. How long do I need to wait before I handle them? You can handle them right away. It's not going to bother the mother at all. I get in there usually, as soon as they're born, as soon as she's done having them, I get in there and feel around, make sure they're all doing okay, make sure I don't have any that passed away that I need to clear out or anything like that. But they're all, yeah, you can handle them as soon as you want to. Don't worry about it. It's not going to bother her at all. Yeah, Andy Rabbit says the same thing. Mr. Mata, now. Yep, of course. S.O. Swanson says, well, time has expired. Thank you for your time. And, of course, thanks to the missus for sharing. You're absolutely welcome. Gainesville is the town in Missouri, huh? I'll check that out. Yeah, I got to wrap this one up, guys. It is time, and I got to go have dinner with my wife. So I don't have to. I get to, I should say. And we'll see you guys hopefully next week. I don't see any reason why I won't be here. Hopefully didn't upset anybody. I mean, like I said, I believe we can have differences of opinions, still be friends. I don't mean to be rude or anything like that when I say I don't necessarily believe these stories because I've just heard enough of them. I just don't buy into it all the time. I got to have some kind of evidence behind it before I do. But again, no, don't be offended by that. I don't mean anything by that. All right, guys. We'll see you guys next week, hopefully. Take care and have a good one. Bye. Oh, and as always, God bless. Forgot that part. Shouldn't, but take care. We'll see you guys.